Well, the four-day winning streak ended today as the local market drifted down at the close. I spoke to Martin Lakos from Macquarie Private Wealth a little earlier. Well, Martin Lakos, it looks as though the market here was having a bit of a breather.
Yeah, it certainly does, Tiki. The market was really vacillated through the day in a fairly small trading range. But look, there is still the chase for sustainable income, as we saw by the move in Telstra today. It hit 409 at one stage, closing at 404. Now, just to update you there, at current prices, 404, that stock is now yielding 6.9%. There are some who are talking it could go to 6% yield, and that would imply a share price of 460. But there is some elements of a smack of buying of these yield stocks, particularly Commonwealth Bank, for example, by overseas fund managers with that strength or recent strength in the Aussie dollar. So we've got to keep an eye on that ahead of those dividends coming up in August. But it was very much a quieter day, volume fairly low, about $3 billion through the day's trade, and the Aussie dollar pulled off below that 105 US dollar mark through the day.
Well, to some stocks, and I see only really a small recovery by Campbell Brothers after yesterday's hammering of the stock. What do you make of the departure of the company's chairman there?
Well, that was announced, that had been announced, and that came through from the AGM. So they've announced that to the market. He'd been with the group since 2003. But I think the market's real focus, Tiki, is on that downgrade and the implications not only for Campbell Brothers in their mineral sector, which provides 60% of earnings for Campbell Brothers, but has implications for others operating in the services sector, in the mining sector. And the trouble is, the outlook for 2012 is not the problem. It's the slowing of capital expenditure in 2013. That could knock anywhere between 4 and 10% of Campbell's earnings.
Now, I see farm chemical company Nufarm has reached a settlement agreement in the class action by some shareholders against it.
Yeah, look, this was in a class action that instigated through the trading period in September 2009 for about 6 months, and there was a class action against Nufarm for that. They've now agreed to settle out of court. This is about 14 or 15 months ahead of the court action actually taking place. About $43 million. I think there had already been some provisioning done by Nufarm. The stock closed down 9 cents to $5.38.
And a share jump in Intrepid Mines shares. Now, they've had serious problems in the last few weeks. What's happened there?
Yeah, well, maybe serious problems, but a serious share price jump. To give the stock was up 32% today to 29 cents. It's up 7 cents. They announced a share placement of 5% of the company's capital to Mr. Surya Paloh. I hope I've got his name right. Now, he's a significant entrepreneur in Indonesia with a large media business, and he's also supplying the mining sector on services with food and catering, as well as amongst other things. So they got the market all excited, having seen a large investor getting involved there. Now, Intrepid has got largely gold mining interests in Indonesia, and that's got the stock rallying pretty hard.
Martin Lakos, thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks, Tiki. Always my pleasure.